Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is Keith Lammey, and thanks for attending the BMSA's annual community meeting. Am I still, okay, I'm talking again. Why do we hold an annual meeting? Well, we think that holding the annual meeting is a good way for us to, at least in part, keep you informed of the things that the BMSA is working on and give you an opportunity to ask questions about some of the things that we do. And judging from the crowd that we attracted here tonight, it seems like there are many of you that agree that this could be a really helpful interchange of information. Unless perhaps you just came for the food, and if you did, that's okay. But at any rate, we thank you for attending. We have a lot of ground to cover today, or tonight, and I want to get right into it. We realize that this is a community meeting, and we want to hear from you. But we also have a lot of things that we want to present before we get into the question and answer period. And so what I'd like to do is to make some opening remarks, and then we have two guest speakers tonight, and I'd like for them to share their thoughts, and then we'll wrap up tonight with a full-blown question and answer section for whoever wants to stay until the center closes and chases us out of here. So that's what we're planning to do. How was the food? Okay, I thought you'd like it. The food, by the way, was prepared by Alon Sinek. I think most of you know Alon. He's been in our community for a long time. In fact, he just lives up the hill from here in Mesa Ridge, so he's sort of my neighbor, not next door neighbor, but lives in the community that I do. He's always done a great job for us, and sounds like he did a great job tonight as well. I think it's probably appropriate that we give him a thank you. I know he was in the kitchen this afternoon doing a lot of work, so he's put a lot of his own time in it, but he didn't do it all. I think he did the cooking, but he had some volunteers. In fact, two of the volunteers that assisted in preparing the food and setting up the tables and things of that sort are board members. We could sure say thank you to Laurel Koenig for the work that she did, as well as Sarah McCurdy. So we appreciate that, as well as Lois Jewell assisted. So we had a lot of good help in getting our food ready for today. I'd like to begin with a few introductions. I think it's important that you know who our board members are, and I don't think all of them are here tonight for various reasons, but the majority of them are. So I would like to introduce them. I'm going to do it by alphabetical order in the name of the village. So we'll start with Laurel Koenig, and if you would please stand. There she is. Next is Eric Smela. He is one of the two delegates from the declarant, and I don't think Eric is here tonight. The second delegate from the declarant is Jason Fletcher, and I know I saw Jason. He's clear in the back. You understand? Okay, that's Jason Fletcher. And from Fairway Villas, Jeff Hill. I saw Jeff. Where's Jeff? Maybe he left. Okay, he was here, but I know he had sort of an emergency, so he left. Our delegate from Monument Creek is Bernie Grote. Bernie, are you here? I don't think so. And then Joel Toomey, who is the delegate from Stone Ridge. I know he had some family emergency business that he had to take to, so he's out of town, out of state, as a matter of fact. Greg Davidson, kind of the same situation, had a conflict tonight. He is the delegate from Tamara's Meadows. And I saw Eric Short, clear in the back. He is the delegate from Tamara's Village. John Constein. I saw John. Oh, yes. Representing the reserve. He's one of our newer members, but he certainly just dug right in and really helped us on a number of issues. Next is Brad Hoy, also in the back. What is this about you guys in the back? Brad represents Valley View, and then I saw Bob Arrington. There he is. Bob represents Lower Church. And your officers. You have 3 officers on your board. First, I'd like to introduce John Shepard, who is our secretary-treasurer, has been for a number of years. And we can be very sympathetic to John right now because he is a tax accountant. So he's really, really busy and taking time out from his schedule to come to this meeting. Thank you, John. I appreciate you doing that. He represents, of course, Canyon View. Sarah McCurdy is our vice president. She represents First Eagle Point. And I am Keith Lammey, and I am the delegate from Mesa Ridge. So that is your board of directors. Next, I'd like to introduce the Association Management Company employees. I think all of you know that the BMSA has contracted for the last several years with the Battlement Mesa Metro District to act as our management company. And leading that group is our association manager, Steve Rippey. So if you would stand, please. This group has just done a phenomenal job for us, in my opinion, and I think most all the board members, and I hope all of you would agree. I think that bringing Steve on board and the Metro District on board as our association manager has been very, very good for our association. We really appreciate what they do for us. I don't think she's here, but Sandy Yeager is the accounting manager, keeps all the numbers in proper order for us. Sandy, are you here? I believe so. But I know Amy Martinez. She's clear in the back. She was the one that was giving out the handouts. I want to tell you about Amy. I don't know actually what her job title is, but I know that we depend on her for like everything. You know, everything that Steve doesn't do, or everything that Sandy doesn't do, Amy does. And she does a great job. She always is at our meetings. She takes all the minutes, prepares the minutes, sends stuff that we have to put on the website. She's just everywhere answering questions and just really does a great job for us. So thank you, Amy. We appreciate you being here, and we certainly appreciate all the work that you do. There is a 4th member of the Metro District staff that occasionally helps us. I think she primarily, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I think she primarily does work for the Metro District, but I know she helps Amy from time to time as well when there's big things that have to be done, and that's Kristen Penner, and I don't think Chris is here tonight either, but we appreciate her as well. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce a couple of special guests, people that you'll hear from later. Dr. Ken Heppenstall, here to my left. He's going to speak in a few minutes. And we've also invited Mr. Lynn Shore, who is going to talk very quickly. So we appreciate them taking time to share some thoughts with us. We invited a couple other folks. Actually, there was only one of the ones that I invited that was able to attend. Since the county, being Garfield County, helps fund our community by about $1 million a year, I invited Mike Sampson, Commissioner Mike Sampson, but I know he had to be in Denver tonight and tomorrow, so he said a thank you for the invite but didn't get here. Same way with Sheriff Lou Valerio. The Sheriff Department provides a lot of services for our community, and we get that for free from the county. And so I invited him here, but I didn't see him, so I don't think he was able to attend. We also invited our neighbors from across the river, the mayor of Parachute and the town manager, but tonight is their town council meeting, so they couldn't attend. But we do have Chief David Blair here. He heads the Grand Valley Fire Protection District, and like the others, he bails us out a lot, puts the fires out, keeps us safe, does a lot for us, and we appreciate the work that he does and appreciate the fact that you took the time to be here tonight. Very last, I want to just take a minute to say thank you to this contingent over here to my left. There's a whole table of them. I haven't met them all yet, but it's really good, I think, to see a contingent of our school district people. I don't know whether they're all teachers or some of you are administrators, but thank you for taking time to come. It's great to have you involved. We appreciate it. With that, I'm going to kind of dive into the agenda tonight and say that I think most of you grabbed I call it hot off the press. Now, see, I've even lost my copy, but at any rate, the 2013 annual report to the members. It just came out this week. This is actually the second time we've done this. We gave it out last year. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed getting it. And I hope that you'll take some time to get familiar with it. What I would tell you, though, is that this meeting, we're not going to spend much time going through that report. The report has 4 sections. The first section really is designed not just for us in the community, but someone that might be thinking about coming to the community. It provides an overview of our community and how we're structured, and we're not exactly straightforward, so we think that helps when people first come here to understand how we're structured, who they need to go to. That's always been a problem. When you have a problem, who do I call? So we hope that will help. Secondly, we have a section about 2013, and not just what the BMSA has done, but what was achieved, or we believe was achieved, of significance within our community. And looking back at it from my perspective at least, I think 2013 was a great year. We made good progress in 2013 on a number of issues, and I think we're well positioned for 2014. There's a section on that as well, talking about some of the things that we're working on now and what we hope to achieve. And the very last section is our financial report as of December 31st. So spend some time getting familiar with that report, and certainly if you have questions at the end of the session, we'll try and address those. But tonight, I'd really like to spend more time looking at the big picture. And what I usually say is that it's fairly easy for us to see what's on the horizon. It's right there. But I think it's important for communities, like it is for individuals, to see beyond the horizon, to look over the hill, maybe over a couple of hills. And I'd like to focus on that a little bit tonight, more than what we would sometimes. I've learned that sometimes you can say more by saying less, or even nothing at all. And tonight, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. I didn't time that, so I don't know how long it was, but I saw some people kind of fidgeting, like, what's he doing, I came here for information and he's quiet. Well, my point is that having that brief silence, I hope you understand now, maybe more than you did before, that information is powerful. And the lack of information is not only frustrating, but sometimes it's hard to deal with. And that's the whole point of having this meeting, is to share information with you. I think it's important that all of us get together on a regular basis like this and communicate, because communication and information is very powerful. In addition to learning that you can sometimes achieve more or say more by saying less, I also have learned that sometimes other people have already figured out how to more effectively make your point. And so tonight, I'm going to defer to Kenny Rogers, the musician, the country music star, and let him sort of set the tone for the meeting. So if you just bear with me for a minute. We need to start at the beginning of this, so just bear with me. Okay, now we're on track.
Little boy in a baseball hat stands in the field with his ball and bat. Says, I am the greatest player of them all. Puts his bat on his shoulder, tosses up his ball. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Now the little boy doesn't say a word, picks up his ball, he is undeterred. Says, I am the greatest there has ever been. And he grits his teeth and he tries it again. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. He makes no excuses, he shows no fear. He just closes his eyes and listens to the cheers. Little boy, he adjusts his head, picks up his ball, stares at his bat, and says, I am the greatest. The game is on the line, and he gives his all one last time. And the ball goes up like the moon so bright, swings his bat with all his might. And the world's as still as still can be. The baseball falls, and that's strike three. Now it's supper time, and his mama calls. Little boy starts home with his bat and ball. Says, I am the greatest, that is a fact. But even I didn't know I could pitch like that. Says, I am the greatest, that is understood. But even I didn't know I could pitch that good.
And that's strike three. I am the greatest, that is a fact, but I didn't know that I could pitch like that. And the lesson is, in life, whether you are a person, perhaps even a little boy, a club, an organization, or a community like Battlement Mesa, it is exceedingly important that we know what we're good at. What do you suppose this little boy told his mom when he got back to the house? Do you think he told his mom that he struck out? Probably not. He probably told her that he was the best pitcher ever because he just struck out the best hitter of all time. And the lesson is, in life, it is really important that we know what we're good at. So what about our community? What about Battlement Mesa? All communities have strengths, and some have weaknesses. Battlement Mesa is no different. We have strengths, and we probably have weaknesses as well. But what is Battlement Mesa really good at? Well, I saw some of you reading in the report. Perhaps you've seen it. If not, I would take a minute just to encourage you to read the President's letter on page 1. Not because I wrote it, but because of one thing that I really believe in that I wrote in that toward the end. I wrote, it is my belief that we can, we should, and that we will continue to push forward toward the betterment of Battlement Mesa. If we are going to become the greatest, which, if you didn't figure it out, that's the title of that little song from King Rogers, we really need to, as a community, identify our strengths. One of Battlement Mesa's primary goals, I believe, is to achieve a positive and healthy community growth and prosperity. I think we can do that. To achieve the goal, though, we must first identify our strengths, and second, we must promote and market those strengths to others that might have an interest in coming here to Battlement Mesa. What are Battlement Mesa's strengths? Well, I don't know about you, but I have a list. What about our climate? Wasn't it beautiful today? I thought it was. What about our wonderful vistas? You can look anywhere. I take a few photographs, in case you hadn't noticed, and I'm always aiming my camera at something, and it seems like there's always something to take a photo of. So I think we have great vistas. And what about this center? We have a 53,000, I believe it is, 53,000 square foot recreational center in our community of, what, 5,000? Not many have those. And what about our award-winning golf course? I think a lot of people come here and live here because of that. What about our schools? We have excellent schools here. In fact, I think Dr. Ken will probably hit on this a little bit later, but I'll sort of speak out, maybe out of turn, and say that our school recently won a very wonderful award for their excellence. And so I think we have a wonderful school system. I think we're blessed to have a very educated and active population that are involved in a lot of things. We have a lot of volunteers around here. We do everything with volunteers. And we have a lot of people that are active in Kiwanis, in a lot of different levels of our organization. And they support our library. It's my understanding, Bernie Grove was here, she could verify this, but because he used to be on the board at the library. But I think our little library down here is one of the most successful ones in anywhere in the country because of our population and our desire to use the library. So I think even our educated and active population is an asset. And what about our great Colorado back door? It's out there. You don't have to drive 3 hours to get to some wonderful opportunities. If you enjoy the outdoors, you can go anywhere. You can do like Dave did a few years ago and get stuck up on the top of the mountain for one long winter night, right? Yeah, I remember hearing about that. But fortunately, he survived that and he's back with us. So we have a wonderful opportunity, I think, to enjoy some outdoors here. I think that's a plus. And how about the Grand Valley Fire Protection District? Or the Battlement Mesa Metro District, or the Park and Rec District. They're all great special districts. They provide some excellent services to our community. And the other thing I noticed about them, and I think this is correct, of all three of those organizations, they have zero public debt. And you would have to look a long ways to find an organization or a community that has zero public debt. But we have those three entities, all special districts. They deliver their services within their budget. They don't overspend so much like the federal government does, it seems. And they provide excellent services to us. And I think that is one of our pluses, one of our strengths. And oh yes, what about very low property taxes? I think that's a biggie, personally. I think it's great that we have strengths, but are we promoting them? How do we do that? How do we get started? Well, I think that we have started. Maybe we haven't done enough, but if you think back a couple of years ago, we started the updated Battlement Mesa Metro, or Battlement Mesa website. It's www.battlementmesacolorado.com. That site's been up for about almost 2.5 years. It's going to be 2.5 years. And it's been phenomenally successful. We typically have 1.2 or 1.3 million hits, not a year, but a month. In fact, within the last about 3 months, we hit an all-time high of 1,000,008 hits on that website in one single solitary month. That's phenomenal. Few websites get that kind of traffic. And it's not just all of you going to this, it's people from all over the state and the country hit our website. And people go to the website, not just you, but others, and they sign up for our newsletter, which we also brought online about 2 years ago. That seems to be well received in our community, and a lot of people sign up from outside of the country. I think they find us just, scurrying through the internet, and then they say, oh, I think maybe would like to know a little bit more about Battlement Mesa. So they sign up for the newsletter and they get it each month, and hopefully some of them will actually move here. And I think it will help. The other thing that we're doing that a lot of people don't know about is this card. It's called a rack card. You see them in hotels. A couple of years ago, Mary Lee and a whole bunch of us got started with this. It's actually a project through the Northwest Colorado Cultural Heritage Tourism Group. It's a group of volunteers from, I believe it's 7 counties in Northwest Colorado, and they've been able to do rack cards for every community. This is ours that we share with Battlement Mesa and Parachute, and it's all free. We did not spend 1 penny in doing these. In fact, they've reprinted a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, and the Northwest Colorado Cultural Heritage Tourism dollars paid for that. So that's a project we're working on, and we're also working on a new segment of that, and that is to put up interpretive signs in all of our communities. We hope to have a interpretive sign down by the cabin this summer. I think we're getting pretty close to having that done, working on the final design. And eventually we want to have one here as well. Another way, maybe a small way, but an important way for us to promote our community. You also may remember that we started the Insider's Guide. We've done 2 of these, and if you were here last year, you already heard the story, so you might want to cover yours, but I like the story so much that I'm going to tell it again. Last year in March, I think it was March, we had a BMSA meeting in the morning, went kind of long, went back to my office, and I had a message. So I called this lady, and it turns out she was the director of the Colorado Welcome Center in Julesburg, Colorado. Now, some of you may not know where Julesburg was, but I know. And the first thing that she said to me after she said, I'm the director of the Colorado Welcome Center in Julesburg, was, we're out of Insider's Guide. We need more Insider's Guides. They're flying off the shelf. I said, what? And she said, we need more Insider's Guide. You can have more? I said, well, yeah, we'll get you some. But I couldn't believe it. It's at least a 5-hour drive. Julesburg, Colorado is on Interstate 76, just as you travel in from Nebraska. Even in good driving conditions, it takes you at least 5 hours to get there. And this lady's saying they're flying off the shelf? Julesburg itself is a small community, so I know it's tourists headed for western Colorado, and they grab these. We produce 20,000 copies of this, and sure, we distribute them in the Echo every year, but we have a lot of other copies, and those go all to the welcome centers. Every Colorado Welcome Center gets a copy of this. And the best part of this, at least from my perspective, is we've never paid a penny. The BMSA has done this entirely through advertising dollars, including, we put an ad in here, but that's the only money that we put into it. And I think that's a cheap way to really promote our community. We're working on a 3rd one. We had a couple little hiccups on that, but we hope to have a 3rd copy out this year. Another way for us to promote our community. But I think we need to do more. Last time I checked, we do not have double-digit growth yet. Well, maybe we actually don't want double-digit growth, but low single to mid-digit growth might be good. Sorry, my phone. Sorry about that, should have had it turned off. Bottom line, I think, is that our community has strengths. We're blessed with a lot of strengths. We just have to figure out how to take advantage of those, and I believe we can. As I sort of close out my comments tonight, I'd like to share with you something that I've had hanging on my office wall for at least 10 years, maybe longer. It's a simple little piece, and it's called, "Will the real you please stand up?" It's framed. I actually have it on the wall. It says, "Submit to pressure from peers, and you move down to their level. Speak up for your own beliefs, and you invite them up to your level. If you move with the crowd, you'll get no further than the crowd. When 40 million people believe in a dumb idea, it's still a dumb idea. Simply swimming with the tide leaves you nowhere. So if you believe in something that's good, honest, and bright, stand up for it. Maybe your peers will get smart and drift your way." I think that's what we need to do as a community. We have a lot of great assets here. We need to encourage others to recognize them. So I welcome your participation in that effort. Last, I'd like to share with you another thing that I have framed. It's simply entitled Excellence. You can recognize it. It's more than pretty good. It's not just better than average or even better than all the rest. Excellence is its own standard. Good enough just isn't good enough. The search for excellence isn't a competition, it's a way of life. Excellence is the goal, not the prize. Excellence. Look for it in yourself and in your organization. Expect it, and it will be there. Excellence. You'll recognize it. Excellence. You'll know when you have achieved it.